Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. God bless you all in Jesus' name. Professor J in the house. I'm trying to drop the episode 2 of CPR, also known as cardiac pulmonary resuscitation, heart attack, or cardiac arrest, right? We've gone through intro and we have gone through the first episode whereby I was telling us about assessment before you perform CPR and being well informed. Location, those are vital information. So today I'm just going to make sure we link the episode 1 and the intro together. And my student, if you do not summarize each episode, you might not finish the class. So it's very important that each episode that you watch, you summarize it and drop it at the chapter for the CPR, or make a comment on the YouTube. All right, Sisters True Love Group International YouTube channel, share, subscribe. So today we are going to do our assessment thoroughly. Remember, we have said you must assess, you must be well informed and know your location. This is the location of the sternum, right? And this is Mr. John. That was the name we gave to him during the first episode. And here is the sternum where you're supposed to compress. Now, let's say you saw Mr. John on the floor, unresponsive. You don't know what happened to Mr. John. American Heart Association expects you to act within 2 minutes that your eyes set on the victim. So once you saw Mr. John on the floor, being unaware of how he got on the floor, the first action you should take is to yell out for help. Somebody help. Mr. John is on the floor. As you're yelling, somebody help, you are definitely going to be assessing Mr. John. Mr. John, are you okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Don't waste time shouting Mr. John. Once you do that, like 2 seconds, you go ahead and assess him. The pulse. The pulse is going to be at the carotid, from the ear loop coming down to your throat line. That is the carotid. You measure it, you press in. Don't just hold it, but press in to feel that pulse. If you don't feel the pulse in the let's say 1-2 seconds, you scan for breath. You know, when you lie down and close your mouth, as you're breathing, air will be coming out of your nose. So we want you to scan for breath. If you scan for breath, there is no breath coming out. That's one signal that Mr. John is unresponsive. American Heart Association, before, they will want you to start locating the place, but now, due to the level of cardiac arrest on young, old, and middle class people, it doesn't matter. They want you to go straight to the sternum, because you already know your location, right? We have discussed that in the last episode. Your hip, you place it on the sternum and you lock. We'll call this locking your 2 arms. And then you have to sit up and you push in. We want you to push in at least 2.75 in depth for an adult of my age, or my size, or my shape. Someone smaller than me will use our common sense. We're not going to go in depth 2.75. You can go 2.50. And someone smaller than that, for instance, people from the Asian country that are kind of petite in nature, they might be old, but because of their nature, you don't want to go in 2.5 or 2.75. You can reduce it to 2.00 based on the size of the individual. And then, how many compression are you going to do is another thing. For an adult, American Heart Association will expect you to compress 100 compression per minute to 120 by yourself. As you are doing this, if you have your cell phone around you, what you can do is call 911 and put it on speakerphone. As you're compressing, police or 911 will be asking you questions. How is he doing? You can say, oh, he's doing okay. I am here alone. I need help. Please, you guys should get here. They will ask you address. If you know the address of the street or the hallway, you give them the address and you keep on compressing 100 to 120 by yourself, and then you give 2 breaths. We don't give mouth to mouth now. Next episode, I'm going to bring the machine that we use to give the 2 breaths. We don't want you kissing people's mouth, you know. That way we use the ample bag. The ample bag will cover the mouth and you can give 2 breaths. 1, 2, and you go back and keep compressing. You cannot break the cycle until you get someone to help you. That is why we want you to be fit. We want you to train very well so that when you're by yourself, you know you have to save life. You can't compress and say, oh, I'm tired, let me wait a little bit. You don't know who's watching you. We want you to start the cycle and continue that cycle until you see someone who will help you. Why are we doing that? We want to make sure the compression that you're doing, as long as you're doing it to the depth that is required. We want that oxygenation to go around the lungs and go through the brain, so that we will not have brain damage before we get help from 911 or EMS. We want you to keep on giving oxygenated blood to the brain, because if we lack that, the whole brain will be vegetable. That is how people die. So please, let's make sure we take the summary of this class serious. I want to ask my student the color of the mannequin, what I'm wearing today, what I started with, if I introduce myself or introduce the topic we are going to do today. I want students to recall. It's very important. If you're not well informed, do not compress anyone. And after this episode for adults, we are going to do the children and the infant. So I'm not missing it. That way you can follow up. We are working on adults only. So pay close attention. When we start doing the children, you will also see the difference in compression, the difference in everything. And the area of pulse is different for children, for infants, and for adults. What we said today for the pulse is the carotid. Right? You scan for breath. Once you see a victim, you shout out, "Somebody help! Somebody help!" Mr. John is on the floor, and you tap Mr. John to the left side of the shoulder. Why do we do that? Because that is the location of the heart. When you put someone unresponsive on the floor, if they are not in cardiac arrest, the tendency for them to jump up will be there. So we want you to tap the left-hand side. "Mr. John, are you okay? Mr. John, are you okay?" Twice. Go ahead and assess your carotid pulse, scan for breathing, and then go for compression. Thank you all. And I'm looking forward for your questions as we go to the third episode. God bless you.